Welcome back to another episode of The Two Alphas Talk. And this time we want to talk to you about something. We're going to start it out by the word idiots.
Idiots.
And we got a lot of them out there. And idiots in the gun world. And it basically comes down to training. What's happening, we got all these new people out here, and we've been seeing some craziness going on. And a lot of new people, they're getting out to the range, and well, you got people who don't know what they're doing is teaching people who don't know what they're doing on about guns. And they're thinking they're cool, and you should see the gun safety is just out of control. I mean, they pointing that gun all around people, and it just makes you want to walk up there and slap them. You know, but you can't, as an instructor, you can't go in there and step in and say, hey, you know, you need to listen to this and here's some gun safety tips, because they're going to call you the idiot.
Right.
And you just thinking to yourself,
Unsolicited.
You guys are the idiots. So I just pack my stuff up and go home.
Who are you to tell me what I
Right.
can and cannot do?
Right. Now, it's your God-given constitutional right to carry a gun. It is your constitutional right to learn about the Second Amendment. It is your constitutional right to defend yourself and your family. However, it is not your God-given right to kill yourself or your family members because you're doing something stupid.
Right.
You know? So if you don't know what you're doing, and if you can't find somebody that's really competent, and the thing of it is, just because a person has been in the military, just because they've been in law enforcement for so many years, doesn't mean that they're competent.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
They're not competent instructors. They're not competent teachers. That's the key. The thing about the idiots is that everyone has a right. You have a right to own a firearm, but you should take it another step and learn about the firearm. I've had people who've had guns for numerous years, maybe 10 years, this one guy, and he never took his gun apart. He never knew how to clean his gun. So the gun was damn near rusted out, but he thought that was good because he didn't know any better. And then the more rust that came on it, he wiped off some that he could, and he kept on going. I never tested to see if the gun would fire or not, because as soon as I saw it, I had one of my guys clean it, and that was it. And we keep moving, and we move from there. But we use that as a learning experience that, hey, you don't know what you don't know. And then the same thing with finding a competent instructor. If you don't know what a competent instructor is, and you think that this person is great because he's military, he's police, and you go to that person, and then they tell you some crazy stuff, you believe that. And this is the thing that you have to now do some research and compare and contrast. See what these other guys are doing. See what what does this person say about it? Speak to people who are in the 2A community that will recommend you to somebody that they feel is a good person, as a good instructor, as well as somebody that can relay information to you and get you up on your feet.
Here's the key. If you ask a person, hey, show me about guns, but unload your gun and give me a brief overview on how this gun works. If the first thing they don't do is clear that firearm and take the ammunition out of it, even if it's not loaded, they should clear it.
Right.
If they don't clear it, and the next thing they do is swinging that muzzle all over the place, get up and walk out.
Right.
Because they don't have a clue to what they're doing. And that's how you can tell.
Right.
You can just tell in that couple of steps. If I take my gun, if I have a gun in my hand and I give it to Al, Al's gonna clear it.
Right.
If Al, he clears that gun and gives it back to me, first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna clear it. Even though I saw him clear it.
Absolutely.
But I'm not gonna sit there and point the muzzle at him either, and he's not gonna point the muzzle at me. We're gonna point the muzzle in a safe direction.
Right.
From the environment we're in right now, we'll probably do it at the ground because there's people around us. Right. So it's a lot of things you can do. And the first thing, third thing, if they can't explain how that firearm works, they need to be able to describe the action on when you put the magazine in, how the bullet goes into the chamber, how its firing pin works, how the safety works, how it fires, how it ejects the round. If they can't explain that, that's another key right there. That means they don't.
That's called a clue.
Yeah.
All right, classic example. I'm on the range, I'm walking down the range, I'm just taking a little stroll around, and I'm watching this guy who's teaching these people moving and shooting. And I'm watching, and as I watch, the gun is doing this as the person shoots. So the target is there, but they're shooting, the muzzle is like this as the person releases the round. But yet this person's moving and shooting. This person who was shooting cannot hit the broadside of a barn, but yet he's now doing moving and shooting, taking it to another level. There's progressions in this. If you can't put a shot where you want it, when you want it, then you should not be moving and shooting. There's a level. You have to get proficient with the fundamentals of firearms and then move to that high speed, low drag. And I understand everybody wants to be John Wick. I recognize that. But at the same time, you have to be proficient, and it's hard. It's not an easy thing. To get to a level of mastery takes redundancy. You can continue doing the same things that you already know, improve to the point where you cannot do those things wrong. Then you start moving and shooting.
And a lot of people want to move and shoot thinking it's on a tactical level. It is. But if you're still at a beginning level and you're stationary and you're shooting at 7 yards, 15 yards, and you're still having trouble trying to reload and do malfunctions, you're still a beginner.
Right.
So, I mean, don't even try to take one of those advanced courses unless you have been proficient at the beginning level first. Then once you get at that advanced, that intermediate level, then you can start progressing and starting to do other things. But it takes some work. You got to put in the work. And if you don't want to put in the work, the time, the money to do all that, I mean money, because you're going to have to pay somebody to teach you that, because your uncle who's law enforcement and military is not going to be able to teach you that. It's going to have to be somebody specialized to teach you that.
When you're shooting low left and the person says just aim a little bit more to the right, you're in a bad situation, because that's not the solution to that problem.
Right. So it's just a lot to think about. Giving you some clues, some ideas.
Don't be an idiot.
Don't be an idiot. And we'll see you on the range.